What's up guys, it's Talon here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how you can improve your W keying skills by analyzing top NAE pro Joji and how he dominates Arena. But before I get into this vibe with you guys, if you do enjoy my content or find what I'm telling you helpful, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. Also, if you wish to support me in another way, use code Talon.fn in the Fortnite item shop, #ad. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. Alright guys, as you can see on the screen we have Joji's POV. This is going to be a near 20 bomb 19 elimination, so a lot to go over. And Joji is one of my favorite mouse and keyboard players. He is incredibly gifted mechanically, but not only is he gifted mechanically, his peaks are fantastic. Look at this recognition right here. Good crosshair placement. Recognizing where that opponent's going to be. Unfortunately, the guy just pushes him there, hits him for a good amount of damage, but he's white pushing, and then just intelligently basically waits to pre-fire. 34, look at the mechanics right here. Now look what he does here. He resets into a right-hand peek. Look again, another right-hand peek. Very difficult mechanically to pull off that type of peek as well. Good cone right there to wall off that opponent. And then look at this peek again. Right-hand peek. Slight window, jump times it perfectly. If you've just seen anything in these first couple of engagements, is his peaks are so protected and they're always right-handed. He never takes bad peaks. To compare with his, to complement his insane mechanics. Look at this right here, fantastic. Cuts the opponent off, flips the cone off, and it's a GG's. A quick 3 eliminations. Coming from the top here. Notice some pickaxe baiting. I'm surprised he didn't phase in a code there. He finally does there. 27 resets. One thing I also want to talk about, it's a little minor thing. I know that a lot of the time you don't want to get hit from this uptight or this being on this upward position. What ends up happening, especially I feel like when I'm in this position myself, is I play too back or too scared passive, but for you to actually hit shots on your opponent and actually have good confidence that you're going to be alright, you have to really take a really forward kind of trajectory, you know what I'm saying? Look how far he is. I mean, he's maybe 1 or 2 inches from essentially falling off. But he's playing super duper very close, so he's able to see. Because if you play back, you're actually just kind of giving your opponent an advantage. Now we're going to see a good example of just when you find something incredibly weird and what you do. So he pickaxe baits the opponent, then full boxes. Opponent hits a nice shot. One thing I also want to talk about that Joji does incredibly well is right there, just a little minor thing, is when Joji, even though he's low, he's always looking for opportunities for counter damage. And he does this so well. So even though he's ended up in a way, what does he do? He quickly looks back, gets a nice little 98 crack, and essentially they're at even trades. Now we're going to see the mechanics on display. Fast edits. Opponent is super weak. He gets an elimination.
Yeah, no, this guy's a weirdo for doing that.
And this is what I've talked about. This is kind of just a very common loadout now. Is you drop that AR and do P90 spray. The biggest reason it does a lot of bleed through damage. You're going to see that throughout this. Good pre-fire attempt, doesn't get it. Good mechanics, and so wants to play defensive, so he's going to immediately double box. Something you need to be doing, making the extra boxes worth it. He nearly gets fully clipped here. That was such a good, just a minor smart thing right here too, is he nearly gets fully piece controlled. So what does he do? Instead of taking the time to flip the ramp, he shoots out the weak ramp and then places his own so he can get out. And then he rotates the ramp that way to protect. So he has an escape route. Really.
Just got full clips.
And then you're going to see P90 right here. Getting a decent amount of damage. But this is why this is so good. You're going to see the amount of bleed through damage you can do right here. Good bleed through damage. Steals it. Fantastic peek. And that's what I said. He's an absolute master of not even just having fantastically just top mechanics. This peak is just so good. So you're sitting here right hand, sitting here on a right hand peak. He waits till the opponent resets, 23 HP on the wall, sprays through, And look at this. Look at this type of, it's nice and wide. He's sitting here on a right hand. The opponent literally is wide open. He cracks, immediately resets, and then this is what I'm talking about. Good crosshair placement, bleed through damage. I don't know if the opponent was trying to pre-fire or what, but looks like he was. And just a free elimination with a really good peek, especially how things started off pretty awkwardly. Very good aim. Full boxes right here. Right hand peek again. And then another right hand peek. That I said never takes bad peeks. Now the opponent's just going to launch pad. The opponent's so weak he's one tap to a P90. So 7 kills thus far. We've seen some really, really good peaks. Look at the mechanics on display taking the high ground. Look at this. And super fast. Imagine if he would have hit this. And again, another right hand peek. Now you're going to see him hit a course right here. 116 and the good crosshair placement to finish it up. He nearly gets full clipped here.
Wow, that could have been bad.
Gets chopped, so eventually what he's going to decide to do, and this is the thing, is like, he's sitting at like 600 builds. He goes, I don't want to fight this anymore.
Crazy.
So what does he do? He just goes down, makes everything one-tapped edit. He also has a harpoon, so you see him break and then harpoon. Then he's going to reset the fight. Good chip damage, 73. Nice. Oh, I like this so much. This is just shows his raw mechanics from him to able to flip up that cone in there, but it's also just intelligence and W King. It's fight IQ. So we get that nice little 73 chop. We're putting good pressure on the opponent. We realize he's going to go to the right, so we edit down. We do get the wall insta. We place the cone. The opponent makes a good play, but then this opponent runs right through. But what does he do here? He creates the cone, resets, and instead of even worrying about editing, what does he do? He blasts through his own wall instead of editing it because it would be faster to get that piece control in the back. He edits, and what does he do? He then edits up the cone, blocks the opponent's shot. Blocks the opponent's shot with that cone. Which is just, one, it's really difficult to do when that cone is that far phased, or trust your muscle memory right there to do that. And then blocks the shot, and then the opponent breaks through. And it just, again, a smart thing, not editing in that situation, because it's faster just to spray through with the shotgun. And then he flips up the cone that he's already placed. Just, again, advanced level W King right there.
Nice.
Now this is a bit, kind of just a not smart play, trying to hit with a pump from that far range. You see a pre-fire attempt. See the mechanics to get up quickly. See some missed edits there, rare. And the mechanics are truly crazy on play. Look at that peak. Nice. That's what I said, his peaks are never bad. Look at this. Oh my goodness. That might have been his only left-hand peek of the video. It's still not bad, because it's really the only way. You don't want to edit him on this side in 50-50, but he catches the opponent. The timing is really good. Look, opponent's out with a pickaxe, so it's going to work out. And then we see the nice little, again, piece control, recognize where the opponent's going to be, and then he triples edits down. 11 kills. Good pre-fire attempt. And this is a good point. A great counter.
This is so scary.
When you're playing a charge, this is like, if you're a super aggressive player, this can really slow your roll. Unfortunately, just bad reload management right there, and then double box.
It's so hard to fight charges.
So because it's such a good counter to people that are super duper aggressive. You sit there and hold that charge. You're not going to want to edit on that opponent. You're going to have to take super peeks. It makes you kind of panic. That charge is just, and you can see it's like, it's kind of scary is what he said. Sorry guys, there was an ad. Let's continue. You're not going to be running into charges a lot, especially in, end games a lot. You're going to very rarely be running into anything that's other than a pump shotgun. There is 3 shotguns, but obviously, without a doubt, the pump is still the best. Only 500 metal here. And he's going to start pushing up, slowly creeping. He's trying to find where the opponent is.
Where'd he go?
He does have 5 launch pads. I believe what ends up happening is he sees where opponent gets killed. He wants to push on that opponent instead. 200 builds. This guy was...
1 HP?
And then look at the refresh on Mats. He gets 243. P90. Good recognition too. That is easy to chop down. Harpoon, a great weapon to use for being incredibly disruptive.
This guy thinks he's the best.
Look at this peak right here when I talk to times it. Immediately, look, this guy, it's pretty difficult to see. And he timed it extremely well. Crack shield. Immediately crank up. See the mechanics on display. That was a good reset too. Good recognition. Trying to cut the opponent off. The opponent isn't defending that too poorly. It's a nice little bleed through damage. But Joji's just the smarter player. Look at this pickaxe bait. Something, again, when you are at health advantage, or if you know a person is on the ropes, you kind of want to get them to play into your hands. You want them to force, open, and edit, or try to attempt something. Look at this. He gets the pickaxe out. The opponent's just got the mini off. Okay, I'll take a shot. And then just a beautiful 124 recognition. And then also to place the ramp in just in case. Usually what ends up happening is sometimes when you place that ramp in, they'll phase on top of it and you'll still get trade through damage. But again, pickaxe baiting, still important part of your game plan, or just part of your repertoire of things that you can do. We see the mechanics right here looking crazy. Would have been nasty, but he only hits for a 78 shot.
What the?
13 eliminations.
Oh my god, he's getting stuck up on. Pumped in the face.
This guy doesn't have a headset. 45. Does a great job of then creating space when he gets sprayed. And again, we see just some raw mechanics just accompanied with good aim, right? You can have great mechanics, but if you can't hit shots. Now this is something I wanted to talk about because when I saw this, I thought this was just how next level Joji is. So he has a gold spaz himself, but right here there's a gold spaz left, right? And he's like, I don't want to fight that. There's, you know, a decent amount of people left, like what, 15-ish people? So what does he do? He places it in the center, then places a metal cone over it to hide the loot. So someone that just can't randomly come in and pick up that gold spaz, because that could affect him later on. A small minor thing, but still completely, it's just a small minute thing, but just very intelligent. Sitting here on a nice right hand peak, and then you see that bleed through damage of that P90. Again, still no use of the AR. Full boxes around himself to make sure. Good recognition. And this is, again, what you're going to see. What Joji does a great job of peaks right there. His opponent's full pieced, and then he eventually just makes peak one. He just waits till the opponent runs out of ammo. It's just good timing. It's timing as well as good, smart peaks. Little tap right here. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm just going to play that again in slow motion just because it was very pretty. A nice, beautiful little triple edit course. Oops, let me mute it. Look at this. 124, 1 pumps. I'm sure you'll see that in his next highlights video. Very, very nice. We're looking at 16 eliminations, 9 people left. Good amount of mats. That's the only thing, is you can't really deal with patters. And a good, just checking above his head before he launch pads. And he's going to get into a little bit of trouble here. Look at that right there. That's such a small little minor thing that he just did right there. But so he sneaks in piece control. Because there's space underneath where the floor is. You can just slide in a cone. Let's watch it again. Just something you could do, recognize right here. The opponent's editing on flat. Because he's underneath. Look at that. Crosshair placement underneath. Places his own cone. But unfortunately, due to the third parties, we're not really able to do much, even though that he wins that trade. The opponent runs away, but this guy's spraying him. Now this is what I would call, the opponent runs away. This is what I would call an emotional play. Like if I saw this in a tournament, he goes, okay, I'm so tired of you spraying at me. And then Joji just hits a course trying to full clip him. He gets in, immediately decides, oh, we should probably box up. There's another person here. And he doesn't have a lot of mats. 116. That jump up is so important to make sure that floor doesn't stay. I know it's these minor little things that Joji's does that sets him apart, that finishes fights. This little jump up right here, when he jumps and sprays, immediately allows the floor to phase. As you can see, the opponent's trying to build it, but because he's jumped up there and the opponent's trapped, it's not going to stay. He gets a free elimination. That's just, again, a minor small detail that separates, you know, maybe someone who's mechanically gifted like Joji is, but his intelligence on what to do in fights. Now, it goes back to endgame. He's sitting here at 3 builds. The other guy pretty much chokes, I'm not going to lie. Now, this is a good recognition that from this opponent does a good recognition. This is really only Joji's only play, right? No mats. We're lowish HP. We do have a gold spaz, so we just going to go for it and immediately jump. And we crouch and we hit a big boy shot. And give us a little bit of mats. It allows us to get out, but things get very scuffed very quickly. Gets to a nice clean lair. Use what little mats we can to tarp. Cracks for 115. And then just unfortunately doesn't have good reload management because he's running in Storm. He's using that harpoon to get through builds. This is something you see very common in endgame. The opponent just 50-50 down instead of staying up and tries to build, and the opponent throws, and then good aim allows Joji to win. Overall, a lot of things that you can implement into your gameplay. One, yes, crazy mechanics, but even with that crazy amount of skill in regards to his mechanics, it's just those peaks. They're always right hand. They're always calculated. When he has people underneath the ramps, he makes sure that he edits whatever side that's going to give him some free chip damage. He's always peeking. We really saw that early on too. Just 2 fantastic peaks, and we saw a way you can be successful is using the pump P90. The P90 was such good bleed through damage that allows you to finish fights quickly, allows you to pressure your opponents. We saw pickaxe baiting. It's just a plethora of mechanics, fight IQ, peaks, and then just a good loadout that you can use if you are wanting to play incredibly aggressive. But that is going to do it for today's VOD review, guys. I hope that you did enjoy it. If you did, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. And I hope I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.